once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love once again. Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, and I'm truly excited again today. I don't know how it happens. Austin Murphy, absolutely. Let's go, right, Jack? And greetings, blessings to all of you swinging through already. Those of you who check in later, when nobody else is looking, those who press play later and don't get caught tuning in, thank you. Blessings to you guys too. I am feeling pretty good again today. I'm appreciative. I'm very grateful that for all of you that swing through and are a part of this. My hope today is that we can have some fun again. I was reviewing yesterday, and for those who were here yesterday, holy cows, man, it was a day. It was a day for sure. And today I'm feeling a little bit different, more at peace, but more open, more welcoming. And, my faith is pretty good. The topic today is one that I feel comfortable with this idea, the idea of creating space for change through detachment. Really is simple observation, simple idea, but maybe the execution of it, not always so simple, because there's a lot of subtleties in life. And I'm going to do the best I can to share some of the things I've been learning, just an observation and just kind of an idea for today, a magnificent Monday. Mondays often get a bad rap, but there's something truly magnificent about the start of a new week. It's a fresh canvas. It's brimming with possibilities and opportunities for growth. And the reality is, Monday or not, every day, every step, every moment can be used as a transition for new beginnings. And we can all allow fresh opportunities to ignite our mind, our heart, our spirit, so that new adventures can grow and continue. Fools and tools, don't lose your enthusiasm. Amen. That's great advice. The joy of the Lord is your strength. Nehemiah 8:10. Joy brings us strength. It really does. Crystal, I watched yesterday's stream. I hope the Jeremy dude was able to get out of the cold. Admittedly, today the Thorpes are still streaming, and the Jeremy dude is still in the topic. Ryan Johnson, yeah, I'm a tool. I've been a tool, man. Oh, this is interesting. It's reality, right? Weather report a few minutes ago. Apparently 21 people lost their lives due to the cold or weather-related issues. Winter's no joke, man. Winter is no joke. Received a fresh opportunity that the zebras would jelly. Ooh, I saw Panel Waste Management streamed something earlier, uploaded some sort of conversations with Jack. And you know what? Yeah, I expect the numbers may rise. Today, I'm feeling less of an agenda in my mind, more of a desire and an intention to kind of flow. We'll just spend a little bit of time together. For those who are willing, we'll just kind of share a little bit of space for positive fellowship. See if we can have some conversations. As I do that, though, I recognize my hope is to be a little bit different than some of the past. And really, maybe we can keep conversations pointed in positive directions. Here, you know what? Because, um, yeah, just because I'm going to go ahead and start it off. For those who are interested and wish to share respectful conversations with Jack today, please feel free. Go ahead. And yes, so it's clear, it appears Jeremy is not frozen. He seems to be alive and kicking and still the topic of, although I think the Thorpes are still trying to figure out what to do with him. And Autumn, yeah, lots of prayers to the people that have lost their loved ones and that lost their lives. Um, this life, this life we are sharing, man, it is a trip. Some of the ideas here, real quick, into the idea of Monday and some of the opening ideas about letting each day, each moment, let it be an opportunity for a new beginning. A new beginning is really a mindset. You can take what was and commit yourself to saying, hey, it might look like the same, it might sound like the same, it might feel like the same, but from now on, it's different. And if you align yourself to being different, to bringing different, it happens. Some of the ideas, I heard someone mention it yesterday about, I think it was yesterday, regarding sometimes you actually do have to fake it to make it, right? You got to believe something. And even though you may not see the signs of it immediately, but if you can believe in something and walk with that idea, allowing yourself to have a new beginning. Because the reality is, there's wisdom from long ago. No man will ever step into the same river twice, right? Because he's not the same man. The river's not the same. Things are always changing. And if we allow ourselves to embrace the change, to be at peace with the change, to be at peace with different, well, different is like a new beginning. New beginnings, new beginnings aren't bad. They can be a little scary, to start over sometimes, especially if you weren't planning on having to start over. But uh, allowing yourself to find a new beginning. The topic and the title today, space for change, right? In order for there to be different, you got to allow yourself to have some space between the familiar and what is now. You can create some space, allowing a little distance so that change can evolve, change can grow. And it's through this separation, through a detachment, just a little bit of space, that's where we can see the identity and the ability to really change. Hey, we've got our first guest, a welcome guest returning again. Welcome back, Autumn. How are you today? You're muted, my friend. There you go. There you go.
Cold.
Is it cold where you're at?
I'm ready
Seems to-
for the. I'm ready for the snow to go away.
Soon enough. Soon enough. That's one of the wonderful things about our seasons is they come and go, right?
Fast enough.
Yeah. Got down to one degree there. The weather is absolutely brutal right now. Historical weather, even in event in 40 states, nothing to scoff at. And there is some truth to that. I've heard, and the media sure, the media I saw sure made a big deal about the storm. But growing up, I lived in climates and areas where there was some pretty rough winters. But it's just a part of life. I actually see the winter as it's just another. It adds more of an adventure to what we're doing, because it sure does make some changes, right? Here in Baltimore, we got plenty of snow, and there's folks still digging out. But you know, it won't be long, and the snow will be gone, and the weather will be warm, and you know, and people will be able to complain about the heat again. Had to turn the water to the house off so it wouldn't freeze. How do you keep the pipes, keep the water running in order to avoid the freeze?
You
Right?
usually just let the water drip.
Mm-hmm. That's what I used to do, or what we used to do anyway. Um, Space for change, detaching from the things of the past, from the things that we don't want to hold on to anymore. You have any ideas or thoughts on that topic, Autumn?
Not that I have in mind.
Okay, no worries. 70 degrees where you are, Lindsay? Holy cows. That's I would be happy about that. It was bitter cold outside here. What is going on? Um, Finding room for change and for the space for change to happen. I've got a guy here in the back now. I'm wondering if there is any space for change available. You're dropping something in the back. Snafu?
I'm just dropping what we talked about earlier today on the phone. We caught an amazing optics last night. Shout out to King TL. But last night, now again, Dutch Sense and BP Earth, they have caught these anomalies already. But what we caught last night was truly amazing. The weather map, a certain site, where we see these laser beam type optics, when we talk about HARP and stuff, weather optics in play, we literally caught the burst starting in the California island area. And then throughout the whole United States map, you can see the diagonal lines pushing up towards the East Coast, vacuuming up the weather that we're witnessing right now. So, and then Jack also shared some really good optics too. It's when the weather map was pulled up. You can fast forward it. You'll see like that's when we start talking about it right there. But Jack also pulled some Palantir optics up that he shared with me as well. And maybe you might want to show that, Jack, because like I said, the movements are in play. The weather is play, but this was truly amazing what we caught last night, what we were talking about. And as you say, Jack, these are legal secrets. These are legal secrets that they're keeping from us. They're starting to be exposed. They're starting to be leaked out, and awareness. And so, like, I just wanted to share this, but also the one you shared, you should show them, Jack. It was a really good optics you caught with that short. But this right here, it's almost unbelievable how in your face it is. So, yeah, the legal secrets thing, when he says that shit, it's real because there are fucking legal secrets that are being beta tested right now. And that's why you're witnessing what we're witnessing worldwide. So that's all I got to say. I'm out.
Hey, thank you, Snafu. Yeah, for those who are interested, the link to his live from last night is in the in the chat. It's a little long. It's over an hour. I'm not going to go through it here. I actually haven't pulled out the details of it myself either. But what he was referring to, the other link I shared with Snafu, a short video I found earlier, pointing out how the database and the technology of Palantir, it is now available for many of the law enforcement. So when a cop pulls you over to run your ID, to run your plates, because of the information age that we're living in, they're going to have access to a lot more information. Some of the things they were pointing out was actually allegedly they may have access to our banking information, you know, being able to look at the transactions we're doing, the patterns of our behavior. This is the world we're heading towards. You know, as technology evolves, one of the best, well, the greatest ability of technology is an increase in data. The technology can monitor data, consolidate, put things together real easily. And we've had whistleblowers here in the US, you know, warning about this for a long time. And panel waste management. Jack is acting like it's new. No, when we've told him this stuff for 3 years and he denied it, saying we are not experts. I don't deny what's going on. I do suggest that, yeah, we've got a lot of people that think they're experts on it. But the reality is we are living at this time of history. Yep, we do. We live in a world where things are changing very, very quickly. One of the things I'm kind of pointing out and trying to suggest, it's not that this stuff is coming, because we know that things like this are happening. We know that some of the authoritarian processes and some of the authoritarian beliefs, they're getting a little more emboldened, and the technology is there to support it. We've got representatives from the the World Economic Forum. They've said quite openly that we've reached a point where human beings are programmable. And the things that are happening in this world between the standing army, the recruitment of the ICE agents, and the deployment of National Guard and military folks here in the US, I actually see these things as pretty serious signs, pretty serious. And Ryan Johnson, it is biblical. We are the continuation of that story. In the beginning was the creation, and you know, God created the beginning, started the world, and somewhere along the way we came into being. I see that we, at this time, I don't know what it's going to take, and this is one of the questions I was trying to get into the conversations last night, is I wonder, what will it take? What will it take for good men and women to unite and say, enough is enough? It's time for reforms. What will it take for enough people to say, hey, this ain't working anymore. It's time for change. Now, my concern with what's going on, because of all the division and the propaganda that's keeping everybody, you know, at war with the truth and at war with each other, it could very easily turn violent. And I don't believe our world needs more violence. Our world is ready for more peace. And I think, should we allow ourselves individually and collectively, and if we can allow ourselves, we can help each other do the same. Allow ourselves to create space for change. Allow ourselves to become detached from the way that things were. We don't want to hide our heads in the sand, right? We don't want to We don't want to ignore the signs that the world is showing us, because this is the world. This is the world we've been given. We are a part of this story of creation. In the beginning was God, and God started it all. God is the beginning. God is the end. We're here in the middle. We're the ones living it out. But if we unite together, humanity, uniting together with compassion, with authenticity, right? Restoring humanity to humanity. It can happen between you, between me, between all of us. And the path, I believe the path is the way. The goal is the path, right? Peace is the path. The goal is peace. So to achieve the goal of peace, the peace is the way. So if we unite together with peace for the purpose of peace, for the purposes of love, of compassion, of true righteousness, I believe we can experience the kingdom of God. Is the kingdom of God is. How about that? Period. It is God's kingdom that we are. We don't realize it though, because our mind is not united. Our mind and hearts are not aligned and united with God and God's kingdom. I know I'm doing a poor job of this, aren't I? This is complicated. Can you repeat that, Jack? Love is the peace of the way of the love of the peace. You got it. No, I can clearly do a better job of improving this. But there's a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. Right? It's the truth. The peace is, it's not just the goal. Peace is the way to peace. You cannot fight your way into peace. You can't hate your way into love. You've got to love your way into love. You've got to be with peace in order to be at peace. The path is the way. And this is part of, I don't know the right words, but it's a subtlety in the paradox. We're cause and effect are one. It's just kind of like in a bigger aspect, it's just like God. The multiplicity is the one. You know, we are the multiple. We are the multiplicity here in this universe. We're each these little small aspects of the greater being, but the greater being is actually all that there is. We are here to live, laugh, and love, right? I heard someone say something like that a while ago. Live, laugh, and love. The biblical heart is the mind. Scripture says to know with your heart and understand with your heart. Truly, the law of righteousness, the law of goodness, it's written into our heart, right? We may not always know the answers to explain it. We may not always recognize it immediately, but the laws of love, they're written into our heart. And if we can live by the heart, uniting the heart and mind together, I believe that is where the kingdom of God exists. Because correct, it's not so much in the material state. And there's, let's see if I can find, Worship. It's yeah. God is spirit, and those who worship him must worship in spirit and truth. John 4:24. God is spirit, and those who worship him must worship in spirit and truth. And I know there's more lines than just that, but it kind of goes, kind of goes to this, that the kingdom of God is with the spiritual state. And beyond the material, we are the spirit. And the spirit is what will lead us to the truth. This is what I did. I spent a lot of time in my own mind trying to understand these ideas. And the more time I spent trying to understand these ideas about the spirit of truth and God with the spirit, the more it made sense. It really, really does. And I mean, I could try and formulate some of those explanations, but I'm just pointing at concepts, really, with the words, pointing at concepts of how it is the spirit of love, the spirit of truth that leads us to the greater answers. I don't think so. I know that he was getting checked out. There's if the Thorpes are still running, there's drama afoot. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? Possibly. You and the live, laugh, love. I would have a butterfly tattoo. I'm sure I'd be all into the angel cards if I wasn't me. But I am me. I am me, and I have become a man of love. I worship the truth. The truth is my God. Now, the truth, it's not material. It's a spirit. It's a power. It's an essence. It's a quality. How about that? My path, to me, I worship the highest quality, right? The most divine power. And the most divine power in my experience, it's wisdom, right? It's love, it's truth, and love. And love comes through beauty, love comes through joy, love comes through so many different ways. And it can be set aside as well. I'm realizing today, I'm feeling like I'm feeling like I'm stumbling a little bit today. I thought I had more within me, and yet as I'm getting started, I'm just feeling more at peace, as though nothing needs to be said. Should we just sit and be in the silence together? Wouldn't that be fun? Just to sit and be with the silence and with the smiles and with the joys and with the memories, with the imagination, and then with none of that as well. Just to sit and be. That is one of my favorite things to do, to be honest. Oh, I just love to sit and be in silence with nothing to say, nowhere to go, and just to be with the divine presence of time. Do you ever allow yourself to do that? Just sit and be with the divine presence of time? Because time is fleeting. We can only know this time, but each time it's got a quality that's just a little bit different. There's a flavor to each time. There's a different, there's a different relationship, and that's not the right word. There's a distinction between each of the seasons, each of the moments, each of the days, and each of the times. And if we can find peace in the present, you can find peace with the past. And if you can find peace with the past and peace with the present, then what prevents peace in the future? Absolutely nothing, in my mind. Chronos worship, huh? Not so much. Here, hey, a guest, one I haven't seen for a little bit. Welcome back, our friend Dom. How are you, brother?
I'm under the weather, Jack, but I'm getting better. Anyway, how are you doing, bud?
I'm feeling blessed, sincerely. Truly. That's not something I'd considered in my past either. The idea of feeling blessed.
Blessing gratitude. Well done.
And they go together, do they not?
Yes, they do. It comes with awareness. But you were talking earlier about peace. For me, peace is always silent. I don't know if you've ever thought about it, but Vipassana does a 7-day silent retreat if you ever wanted to do something like that. You can be closer to God in breath when you're in silent. And people value that stuff. That's why we use words like G-host. What are we giving up when we no longer are in these forms? We're giving up something.
Yeah. Ooh, actually, yeah, when we give up these forms, giving up the form, creating space, or finding space, aligning with the space beyond the form. Here, Dom, with this, the live stream title today, I think I might be doing kind of a poor job, but I know it can come through more clearly. The concept of creating space, allowing space within ourselves, that separation, that momentary pause and separation in that space, that's where we can identify change, right? Does that make sense?
With the repent aspect of change, yes. But you also put in detachment, hence where the Buddhism talk about getting a better grasp of all of our attachments. We do form a lot of attachments. But anyway, yes, space.
Well, when we are attached, when we're caught up in the chaos, when there is no space, it's hard to even imagine things being different. It's hard to conceptualize changes.
Yeah, you would have to be in the imagine, I am Jin kind of ideal. You get to play with that ideal, hence beliefs or constructs. And it's usually a personal thing. It's always challenging to try to explain it to somebody else because they got to experience it themselves.
Yes. And yet, I think people do experience it. We all experience much of the same things, but we may not be aware of it, right? We lack the awareness in sorry, my mind drifted. Landry, welcome to you, my friend. How are you today?
It's an honor and a privilege to be here. How are you doing? Good to see you. I don't know if I met this guy before, but
Andrew, you're Mr. Skateboard Guy. Come on, I know you.
Skateboard guy, cool.
Yeah. You wounded yourself.
Oh, you're that guy. Sorry, there's a new Dom guy I don't know.
Okay, that's another guy.
Right? With like long hair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Different Dom.
Hey, Landry.
All right. Cool. What's up, man?
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question about the military? Is it okay? So,
Please.
are you familiar with like operations that they do where they because this, I mean, I don't know if I believe it, right? Because I'm with the truthers a lot of the time, but I don't know if I believe what all they say is true. But he's telling me that there's this operation happening underground in Dallas right now, and I'm there all the time. There's police cars everywhere. I mean, there's a police car on every corner. So I'm wondering if there's any plausibility to what he's saying, that there's an operation underground with the military right now.
I would say it's 50-50.
Damn. Right where I started.
That's a big question. There could be a lot of different possibilities with that. Welcome to you, Lindsay.
Thank you. Just thought I would join until people get really bored. And
Yes.
then newer people can come up and entertain.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Please continue.
I appreciate it. So, Landry, what kind of signs are you seeing? You're referring to Dallas or in the greater
Yeah,
picture?
it's just the city, just the city itself, not even the suburbs or the outer. Just, I mean, and there's also these dudes. I mean, they're running around with masks on and these little, what are they? Not dune buggies, but they look like that kind of like ATVs, or I don't know what they're called. They're like little. I guess they're made for dirt, or no, they're probably made for snow. But it's crazy to see those here because they just ride around downtown with masks on and like flags hanging out their window. And he's like, "Yeah, that's the
Snowmobile?
military." Yeah, snowmobiles. That's what it's called. Yeah. I'd never seen one in my life, so I guess I didn't even know that's what that was. But it's probably true. And so what weirded me out was there was a cop following with them, not arresting or turning the light. It seems like what they were doing would be illegal. They're like flying into the highway, like spinning around and doing shit, and the cop's just right there with them, like, "Let's go, guys. Let's go together." So what's weird out there, man? I don't know, when it snows there, it's probably so normal, nobody does anything. But here they're like, "Oh my God, we've been holding this in for 4 years," and they go crazy, you know?
Okay. So it's a result of the snow.
Yes, most likely it's just a result of the
Okay.
snow. But he's so convincing.
The one who told you they're doing military
He's
exercises?
told me a lot of other things too, but yes, that same guy. And I keep running into him. I can't stop running into him. It's like I would say he's following me, but there's no way.
Interesting. Does he have any ideas on what the operations might be?
No, but he saw it on Rumble.
Saw it on Rumble.
Yes.
Gotta be true. Well, actually, in a kind of side, partially connected to that, this world today, man, there is so much craziness going on. How are we going to know? Right?
I don't think we ever could. I guess it's fun to speculate, but then people often get. That's why we did that show, Back It Up. But it turns out nobody wants to back it up. Certain things don't. But here's the other thing too. Certain things like secrets, you took your military oath. So if the whole city, if everyone on Earth took that oath, except for me and him, that's why we keep running into each other, because they're all in on it, and we're not.
Interesting.
He's laughing at tragedy, potential tragedy. I want to throw a fact at you that I thought was interesting, because what reminded me of this fact was the fact that you were saying we need to be united in peace, because we are usually most united in war. For example, 9/11. And
Yeah.
so I was also trying to think, okay, let me think at the top of my head how many instances in history I can think of where we're united in peace that didn't precede some kind of war beforehand. Like the ending of the Civil War around 1865, we benefited from that, but after a lot of blood. So I was looking for a solid example of some time where we united in peace without a war before or after, and I couldn't think of a single one. I thought maybe small instances like Martin Luther King Jr., how he stood up for blacks and then they had more freedoms, but that's debatable. I
Right.
don't know. And then I wanted to read an interesting statistic to you because I found it fascinating in light of what's going on right now. Okay, U.S. civilians own significantly more firearms than the military. According to the Small Arms Survey, American civilians possess approximately 393 million firearms, while the U.S. military holds around 4.5 million.
Where did you get that number?
I got this from, well, Google, to be honest, but
Did you what like would you just Google searched it, or you're like on a Gemini or what?
I definitely Google searched this.
393 million.
I had heard before, and read in the news and magazines and stuff. So take that with a grain of salt, I suppose. But look. Another source says 85% of the world's 1 billion guns are in civilian hands. So you can do the research. I don't mind, but since I'm talking up here, I'm not going to, take the time to get my
Mm-hmm.
T's crossed and I's dotted.
That's fine.
The point is, we could easily have some kind of martial law coming, and since we are more united in the wrongs and what's we deem as being immoral, like 9/11, first example I could think of. I don't think it's too far away that we could have a martial law kind of
But
situation.
think about how the weather would do that just as a temporary thing automatically. It would already happened this week here in Dallas. I mean, there was nobody outside, nobody for a second, except for the little party people. But that's what the claim is that that's what's happening. It's why the weather is happening. It's intended for a little temporary little taste of, and that's what COVID. They say that was too, right?
I'm having trouble with what you're articulating, because you're saying because of the weather, what?
No, it's just like a martial law practice to see how many people would, because they're just patrolling the streets. I mean, if they, just seeing how many people are around, like, I mean, taking some numbers, who knows? I mean, they're just running in circles.
I see what you're saying.
Or they could be waiting for car wrecks.
I don't know. I really don't know. Like you guys were saying before this, no one has a crystal ball.
Right.
Are we going to be united in our hatred for autocratic government
So
and communistic acts, fascism kind of thing? Or are we going to be united in the desire to be left alone and have our freedoms?
I don't know. What do you think, Jack? Do we need to get back to something else?
Well, it's an interesting question.
Okay.
I mean, what is humanity going to do? Because the odds are, like you said, throughout history, we don't have a lot in our recorded history about peace unifying. We've got people uniting against problems, and then maybe after the problems, kind of trauma bonding. And the number of weapons, I hadn't looked at that, but I wouldn't doubt what you're saying. The number of weapons here in the U.S. probably does exceed what the military has registered.
Yeah, it does, by far.
And that's, I'm not an anti-gun guy. I mean, I've owned guns, and I love shooting guns. It's fun. Target practice. I'm not into hunting, and I'm not into murder. But
hold on, let me take a note here real quick. Jack Talcott, not into murder.
not into murder.
Good, because that's the only reason I'm here, is to find out whether or not you were. So
Okay,
Right.
we can shut the show down now.
But it's.
But
Go ahead.
no, you were going to say but. So
Oh.
I was wondering what you were going to say to follow that was going to negate it.
I think it's been conditioning, right? Using the fear to condition people. Many of the people I've known, right? The people I have known who have these big stockpiles of guns and ammo in their homes, most of them they've gone that route because of fear.
oh yeah, that's so true. That's what made my family members get guns when they get afraid. It's never like, well, I want to do this. Well, sometimes it's for fun, but I think it can be very easily too afraid. And then that's why whenever it does get used, they're not going to target practice. They're just going to, you know.
How would you say fear is the motivator and not peace? Because
afraid of someone
or
coming to their
freedom,
house, right? Afraid of the people
but in the
that are.
name of freedoms and wanting to be left alone by the government, people are actually motivated by freedoms and peace. Sure, initially fear. We're talking about impetus for change, right? And the
Yes.
things that motivate people. So fear is a great one, but look at the overall outcome. How come nobody considers the overall outcome of what the fear is going to end up in? You could say wars start with fears.
Yes.
But look at the overall outcome of the war. That's not fear. That's some kind of advantage or gain. So are they more motivated by the advantage and gain and the peace and the freedoms, or are they more motivated by the fear? And if we're more motivated by the fear, then I would say that we're closer to martial law happening than not.
Yeah, actually. Now, martial law. So we're clear. My understanding of that is when the state kind of steps back and it's basically everyone for themselves, right? Is that concept of martial law we're talking?
Yeah, I guess it's also part of the Second Amendment, if you want to fit that one in too, that anybody can take arms. Doesn't have to be police and military. It depends on how you interpret the Second Amendment. But, I mean, people think of martial law as people standing with people. But is it everyone for themselves too? I don't know. Maybe we should see.
Yeah. Yeah, admittedly, martial law it's not something I've given a lot of thought to myself. Yeah. Whoops. What is this? Likely refers to, oh, yeah, I misspelled it. Martial law, military rule temporarily replaces civilian government during crisis like war or disaster, involving suspension of normal laws and rights, or less commonly, economic concepts like laws of demand, invoked when civil authority fails and is limited by the Constitution. Military. Go ahead.
Was your question about is martial law where man goes against man, or is it man united against a force? Was that your question?
I was trying to understand when it would be and what would be the benefit of it. So I guess it's military authority for civilian rule. Now that sounds more like heading towards fascism. You've got military law over civilian rule. Rules and restrictions typically includes curfews, movement restrictions, military rule. But in the context of what you're saying, Lindsay, I actually do think fear would be more of a driving factor for martial law than anything.
I don't know. I'm just asking kind of open-ended questions to think. But
No,
why did Landry go?
I do not know.
We're asking you questions today that you have no answers to. It was just something I thought of that it was amazingly overwhelming how many guns civilians have
Yeah.
compared to the military. and the power that comes with that.
Yes. However, though, I mean, the idea of the the idea of everyone having their own weapons, Second Amendment, the idea of martial law, those are really in a society or in a mindset where might is right, where force is the ruler. I don't like that idea. I really don't. Do you agree or no? Do you think it's
I don't know if it's a matter of do I like it or not. It happens. It seems to happen naturally since societies were, first came together, and there had to be order and rule and structure. And in order to have those things, you had to have some kind of enforcement. And if you go way back, there's going to be the alpha male, and that's who was the enforcer. So no matter what we do, we're going to have some kind of hierarchy of power, whether we like it or not.
yes? But power does not have to resort to the physical power of the might and right. And I get what you're saying. That is how it's how society has developed.
But who respects and follows soft measures of control versus hard measures of control? Everybody respects that because they fear it.
I would say the wise do. The wise can respect, more gentle and less forceful means of control.
We voted for, in general, because some people didn't, but overall, we voted for that hard control in voting for Trump.
That's much of the argument I hear about the ICE agents being deployed. The response I hear from some of the MAGA folks is, well, the majority voted for it. This is what you get.
Yeah, and then we cry about it. But then we happen to do that. I understand. Look, I'm not on the side of, killing people and
Right.
shooting them in the head when they disobey. I'm not. This just reminds me of World War II Germany kind of actions. But it's the beginning. By the way, anyone can jump up here. I'm not particularly interesting, and I don't mind some kind of feedback or whatever.
I
Anyway,
appreciate it.
I think there's the big chasm between how things should be in all aspects of things we talk about and how things are. And when you're dealing with reality and the way things are, you look at your cards, you look at your tools, you look at your weapons, what you have, what you don't have, and what you need in a very practical, non-emotional way. It's always different from the people who are saying, well, it should be this way or it should be that way or no one should be killed. And they come up with these ideal notions of how it should be. But that's not here. It's not helpful. It's not here or there. Are we looking at this like it in a realistic way? I'm just asking you questions, whoever.
I can respect what you're saying, and I do. I get what you're saying. It may appear unrealistic. However, my press back against that is if we don't shoot for the ideal, if we don't even consider the ideal, we're never going to pursue it. And for me, the ideal is a world without violence, where violence is just the last resort, right? It's not the first choice that
Is it a necessary evil? Because like we were talking about before, go back in very primitive societies. They had violence there too.
Yeah.
Even in tribal societies, still there's violence.
True. There has been. I mean, there's always the potential for violence. I mean, it's natural. It's in the animal kingdom, and we are partly that. However, I am convinced that the intent, I was going to bring in the ifs in the case I'm wrong, but I don't believe I'm wrong. I believe it is God's plan, God's intent for mankind to rise above the beastly ways, to become the conscious creators that we were created to be. And we've got everything we need. We really do. We could create a world where wisdom is right, where compassion rules. All it would take is all it would take. It would require.
Did you smoke a little pot?
No, I don't. No.
You sure?
Might help.
I thought maybe you were stoned.
No. I don't believe these ideas are impossible. I really don't. I know that the likelihood, especially based on past practices, based on historical records, the likelihood of mankind actually being able to transform and work together instead of being at war with each other, it seems unlikely. But if you look at the facts, I mean, what makes sense, what makes the most sense, it wins. The only thing that makes sense for humanity is for us to figure out, how do we live amongst one another without being at war with one another? And there's people who know. I'm learning how to do it. I'm just not very good at it yet. Getting along with others is what I
That's
mean.
a really hard argument to make. It's much easier to say, nuh-uh, and here's why. And I could give you a bunch of reasons why utopia, egalitarianism, and all those centrist kind of ideas cannot work. But the harder thing to do is to say, here's how it could work, and here's what we'd have to do. And here's each variable of, unrest addressed so that we could get to the bottom of this and conquer it. Even if you had a plan, I don't know how it would go about, because I was going to say any two people in a room, there's going to be a disagreement or some contention at some point. But even with one person in the room, yourself and yourself alone, there is contention and fight and battle.
There's the potential. But the reality is when we learn, when we know, we don't have to fight. There's nothing to fight once we actually, once you go to the more esoteric, the more spiritual ideas, right? Earlier, before you joined, talking about the spirit of truth, the spirit of God. Through the spirit, there's a unification. And in that unification, there is no battle. There's no separation. There's no divide. There is only the peace. And Austin, God created all things. All things were created by God. And I'm not trying to change God, but God created peace as well. And actually, God creates the space and the opportunity for peace and war. And mankind, each of us, we get to choose. We get to choose what we're going to live with. I don't want to live with wars anymore. I don't want to live with fights. I don't want to see people being punished and harmed. I don't believe in those things anymore. I used to. um, with this comment, as beautiful as all this sounds, nothing you are saying will pay the bills. In a world of unity, who's doing the billing, right? In a world of unity, we share the abundance. We look out for one another. And when you recognize your abundance, when you have an abundance, it is so easy to share. It's fun to share. But we live in a world where people are afraid to share because, oh, the next guy might take something, right? We got to arm ourselves up. So I can imagine a world with a truly free market where it's not how much does everything cost, it's how much is available, right? It's we are here to just share and create a world without bills. Here, the two go together. A world without wars and a world without debts. They go together. We have wars because of debts. We have debts because of wars. That's how the entire international banking scheme has flourished. The international bankers are behind every single war because you can't go to war unless you're going to, put yourself in debt. And
we went to war a long time ago without having money and without having much resources. So I don't know, are we blaming money? Are we looking for, this is going to sound disrespectful, I don't mean it to be,
no.
some kind of sky daddy to rescue us because when we are faced in a situation where there is nothing else to do or perceive that there's nothing else to do, we're going to say, therefore God will take care of it, God will do it. But how is that practical in the meantime? I see that chasm there is the one that we're at over and over again in these conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Dealing with what is and dealing with faith
Mm-hmm.
and hope and idealism.
Yes. My view is a little bit different than many of the religious. While I may be saying the same words. What is God going to do? Right? It's all in God's hands. I'm saying the same things, but my view is it's a relationship. So anything that God wants to be done, it's going to be done through the creation. And you and I, we are the creation. And so my wonder is, what might God allow me to do? If God will allow me to bring peace, well, I'm going to bring peace. God could allow me to bring war too, but that's not what I want. I don't want to bring war.
Well, no one wants it just by virtue of being alive. It's foisted upon you.
War?
Any kind of, I don't know, whatever word you want to use for it, contention, something getting in the way of what you believe is rightfully yours, some kind of attack, some kind of infringement. I think it comes with having a society. Whether that society is a little tribe or a primitive society or a modern day society. How do you unlearn? First of all, how do you agree? Because we're all so different. We're not going to agree to live and let live. People are highly opinionated. Let's take this whole gay thing. Like, some people are like, live and let live, it's none of my business. And then other people are like, it's an abomination against the Lord, and God hates gay men and gay people, blah, 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 blah. It's just one mess. You can't get everyone to agree and to just get along.
And yet, as soon as they do, they do.
When's that going to happen? I mean, I just gave you one small example. When is the whole acceptance of gays thing going to happen? I don't think it ever will.
I don't know that it would have to be entirely. The reality is, all we have to do is figure out how to accept one another. Stop judging, stop condemning, stop trying to oppress and control. Those are the issues we have, not with people's sexual preferences. It's with the what do you do with that? What do you
Where do
do
you
with
draw
it?
the line? Where do you draw the line between tolerance and right and wrong? Because there's a lot of people who say that's wrong. Being gay is wrong. Where, at what point? And are you going to step into these people's bedrooms and enforce it and judge it? At what
Right.
point do you just let go? And at what point is too much, like the whole Disney controversy where you're saying, hey, I don't want to watch a movie with gay fish and have my kids see that kind of thing. Where, you know how the whole Disney thing where all these alternative lifestyles are being foisted upon different people or whatever. Where's the line? We're never going to agree on where the line is.
Well, not in this current world, because the world is, by design, we've been fractured and divided. I mean, the entire mankind has been so brainwashed, and people don't see it. They don't have any idea, because that's all they've done. They've just been in the midst of this
How do you
brainwash.
deprogram people? Because wouldn't that be one of the things that would need to take place, that we've all been
Yes.
brainwashed, so to speak, and socially
Yes.
conditioned?
Yep.
How do you undo that?
That's actually what I'm hoping to be a part of, because it's what I had to learn for myself. I did. I had to unlearn much. And in unlearning, I learned different. But in order to unlearn, I had to create space, and actually, perfect. Brings us back to this topic, right? I had to create space within myself. I had to allow myself the flexibility and the movement in order to be wrong. Because until I was flexible enough to open my mind and have ideas different than I used to, I was fixed. I was attached to the things I had learned in the past. But what you're saying, Lindsay, it really is. It will be an unlearning, but it's so perfect, because that's just how God designed us. We're able to learn, we're able to unlearn, we're able to do a lot more than society wants us to think. And where's Snafu? I'm not gonna call it what you're saying. Where'd you go?
He gave up.
He had something there about
Snafu he was going to add some zest. I know it.
He was. Where'd it go?
It's pretty bad when you're begging Snafu to make me shut up and
No.
begging him to come in. Come on, Snafu, fix this.
He had a comment. I saw it in YouTube. I'm not seeing it to pull it up, but he says, Jack, they are called re-education camps. Yes, there are those, such as in the World Economic Forum and others, funding.
I want to hear about that. I want to hear about re-education camps. What is he talking about?
Well, kind of like what I think that was part of what happened in World War II, the concentration camps. Well, actually, no, it happened in the United States through the indigenous people. We introduced them into re-education camps and taught them they couldn't talk like their grandparents. They couldn't practice their traditions. They had to be re-educated and conform to the white man's way of doing things. And once the white man's way of doing things happened, holy shit, we're still dealing, all of us, we're still dealing with the effects of colonization. It didn't click for me until more recently. But even the white man, the white people, we are suffering from the damages of colonization. Because, you know, if you take the idea that the white people settled from majority, right? We'll just focus on that part. And I know there's people from everywhere, but the Western world migrates, moves here to the new land. And so we separated the indigenous and the blacks from their ancestors, from their traditions, and they were taught our way. It's part of the colonizing process. Happened in Israel as well, from my understanding. But the downside is those of us, our family who migrated from Europe, we've lost connection to our families as well. So we've got an entire species with amnesia where people have been re-educated and miseducated so that they don't have the connections to who they are and who they were. Hey, this right there. Colonization of the world remains the most impactful series of events in the history of mankind. We are the results of it. What's
it helps
that?
with change. The biological need for change meets, helps us survive. It's like a necessary thing, and anything that doesn't, that happens doesn't come without consequences. Change
Okay.
is a necessary thing for survival, right?
Yes.
But change is also going to have to come with some negatives and positives.
Especially when what's
whether
that?
we're whether we like it or not, we're going to have to cope and adapt. And what's that phrase? Adapt, overcome. No, adapt, improvise, and overcome. We
Yeah.
have to do that to survive.
Yes. Part of life. And what you're saying with change, there may be good consequences, there may be bad consequences, but especially when the changes are not well thought out, or more so, the changes are done with just a narrow field of vision, right? Focusing on one small objective, such as reclaiming or claiming this land. If that's the objective, just to claim the land from another, there's going to be a lot of consequences to the changes because they're not being made out of love. And see, Lindsay, it all comes back to love. It really does. That's the key.
That's not what I was thinking, but okay. It comes back to love and war. It comes back to me, just differing perspective. It comes back to me to the cold reality of nature.
The cold reality of nature. By whose perspective? Because that's
because nature wins everything. All these things that happen naturally, they're not so cute, they're not so pretty. They're cold, and the consequences are that maybe some benefit occurs. And along the way, a whole lot of something that you liked has to be sacrificed, or that you got used to. There has to be change. There has to be fear. There has to be death. There has to be these things that people perceive as being awful. And I'm saying has to be because have you ever tried to control nature? You can't. As a human being, you can't.
no.
I'm talking too much though. I'm going to step down. I was just thinking of some things. And if some more rowdy people want to get on, the fun people, you go on up there, you make it fun, you like spurt out and do your thing, call Jack a jackass, whatever you have to do. I'm going to step down.
Um, Lindsay, thank you. I don't agree here. Actually, this was from earlier. I encourage you, Lindsay. You you gotta have it. I believe it's intended as humility, and that's honorable. But
It
don't
was
sell
feedback.
yourself short. I
Feedback
actually
from that. They're like, Lindsay, you ruined this whole show.
no
It's so boring. So I'm like,
no
all right, I won't get up as much. Fine. They like the fighting.
no. See, and I'm actually the opposite. I do enjoy you. I appreciate your perspectives genuinely. You usually bring some pretty well thought, or at least it's a perspective that's different than mine oftentimes, and it's always respectful,
Well, I
mostly.
like the differing. I like the differing perspectives too. It makes it more interesting, and
Absolutely.
that's the best way to grow, I guess, is to try to put yourself in the other person's perspective. I was going to say shoes, but to try to see things from their perspective, because
Yeah.
usually we just talk it up here on all of the chats, and people are saying their opinions, and it can be fun and interesting, but rarely do we ever come here to have our minds changed and to doubt our own views in any way or analyze them in any way that's, maybe see something differently. Jason Reeves, he's a chatter from here. He really changed my mind in a big time about something.
How so?
He was talking about how the laws and the things that we have set in place are not there for emotional fortitude and for balance and for the kumbaya reasons. They are there because they have utility. They're well thought out. They are, and until they aren't, they can change. But it's not whether, when we're looking at the ICE situation, he said nobody likes the fact that people are getting killed, or some lady was shot in the head 3 times, or a guy that helped veterans was shot. Of course, nobody likes that. But he was
Okay.
pointing out the point. He was pointing out the point. He was making the point that it's not what's pretty that we need to do. It's what's has the most utility and necessity. Because if we run the government on just, or ourselves on just fear and just emotions and just going towards the idea of some kind of utopia, we're not dealing in reality. So I really have a hard time putting that into words that aren't really verbose, but
Hmm.
it helped me see that it is good sometimes to take the emotions out of things so that you can get things done.
I agree, but Lindsay, what you described is exactly the position I feel I've been taking. It may sound like a little idealistic or whatever, but if you look at the utility, right, the actual value, hard facts, and consider which is more value, having a government and corporations that operate in secrecy, or having a government and corporations that operate in transparency.
I don't approve of the government. I think it's autocratic. I don't like the way the government's going right now at all. I'm not supporting that, and I'm not supporting
Okay.
ICE by any means. I'm not supporting ICE. What I'm looking at here is why is that funny?
Please finish.
What I'm looking at here is, or I'm trying to look at, is cold hard facts and less emotion in it. And when I think of ICE, I see too much cold hard fact, too much, too much. It's fascism. Too
Yes.
much autocratic rulership.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be great if we could have a balance or somewhere near closer percentage of the things that you think of on your right brain when in consideration of these major world decisions, so that it doesn't just become a game of risk, like the game board risk, where you're
Hmm.
moving around pieces and not thinking about them as human beings. There's going to be collateral damage. So how do we get what we need to get with the least amount of collateral damage possible? And do we not get there because there's going to be collateral damage? I don't know all the answers to this stuff. I just learned basically to try to put less emotion in it.
Lindsay, you're painting my case for me. You really are. Because the consequential the damages. If we can avoid damages, that should be the priority, right?
You can't.
And
You can't.
not if we don't try. We can mitigate and reduce the amount of harm and liability that's spread. And we're at a time right now, just what you're saying, the direction the government is going, the direction of the ice, that's a problem. That's a real life problem that's affecting many different people on many different levels. But that's why I suggest that it's time. No one is going to fix the government except the people. The people who choose to fix it, they're going to be the
Martial
ones
law.
to fix it. If that's what it takes. But I believe we have the opportunity. There's methods, right? Best practices have been developed through proper education using tools such as nonviolent communication, right? We use diplomacy and words to bring peace, to bring resolve. And if we can work together collectively to bring accountability to the people in government so that it's not just this might is right where, you know, these I can very easily get very angry and very insulting at what I see happening in this ICE, right? Immigration and customs enforcement, this border control. It's sick.
Have you ever seen, I'm sure you've seen some movies, there's always a protagonist and an antagonist. Have you ever rooted for the antagonist?
Often.
Because in this case, I'm kind of rooting for the people. And the people, meaning if they want to enact martial law, I couldn't blame them. I wouldn't blame them. Because sometimes the perceived antagonist is really the protagonist. You know, like Robin. What's the tale of Robin stealing the food or whatever? Robin Hood.
Oh yeah, yeah. Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see that scenario going on. What I do see is truly this pull for authoritarian domination. Donald Trump he's a perfect man for the job, right? He's playing this role perfectly. He's going in and he's seizing power and he's claiming power and he's tearing stuff up. But he ain't doing it for the side of the working class. He ain't doing it for the side of freedom. He's doing it for his billionaire buddies.
He's
And
kind of
so-
doing it Putin style.
Yes. He is so much like these, what's the right word?
Asshole.
These dictators. Yeah.
Works.
Asshole. He is. What we have in America, we got a problem. We've got a problem of values. Values have been misplaced. And in the misplaced values, we've allowed the prideful, the arrogant, the selfish to rise in power and to gain in control. But if someone's going to fix it, who's it going to be? Is it going to be the next generation, or maybe we leave it for a couple more generations for them to do something about it? I think it's up to us. And what if we can't? What if we can't? What if the answers are simple? It's just the execution might be a little challenging, right? Because that's what I've found for myself, this path of inner peace, doing the shadow work and doing the inner work. The path is actually really simple. You know, you just got to pay attention to detail and watch for subtle differences and, you know, unify things here, move things there, and put things over there. And then next thing you know, it's done. But if we do that for the whole world.
No. I don't agree with that, but go on. I think the path is simplistic, but not simple.
Fair. Yes. And I was making light at it. It's not. It's
Damn,
not
there it is.
Here and piece over there. But with practice, anything gets more simple. And that's what I figured out for humans, all of us. Everything might be challenging. It might be difficult, especially when you start, and especially if you don't know all the answers, you don't have all the details. But anything we learn, it becomes simple, right? I mean, even surgeons going in doing these complicated these complicated procedures, once they've done them a few times and they got it down, they get it down. And so any of us, if we know what the goal is and we've got an idea of what it's supposed to be, we can figure it out. And I think we can make a better world very simply. Welcome back, Landry.
Hey, it's good to be back. It got deep, huh?
So deep. Snow quote.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to step down.
Lindsay, thank you very much. Much love to you, my friend.
Okay, I had the other tab open. My bad. I was like talking to you in the past. I was talking to past you. Because it was in there, yeah. So what's up, man? Quiet night, not a whole lot of calls?
Yeah. I think, you know, it seems to be that way. People get comfortable here and then there'll be a big turnout and then Angry Jack shows up or I offend people and then they don't know how to react. And so then they give me more space.
So is that what happened yesterday?
I don't know.
Okay.
Dude, yesterday was how many? I think we had, I wrote it, I counted it up. I think I had 19 people come through yesterday. I mean, it was.
That's crazy. I didn't even know there was that many people in the panelverse.
It may be an exaggeration, but I know, well, we had a full panel for several times and it kind of people came through. But yeah, so after yesterday, I think some of the things have changed. Real Want Life. You're fascinating. Claims how. Feel free to hit the link, dude, because I gotta understand, how do you claim to know what you say?
What does it mean by loop? Does it mean do a live stream? I don't even know what people are saying anymore. Like I've been here, I don't know, what, 6 months now. I can feel like I can finally see the sort of perspectives of what you know. I might have been kind of confused in the beginning, but now I don't know. I've seen the cycles that people go through. There's cyclical natures at play here, but I don't know what that means. Like, what is the loop? Because I feel like things change pretty often. I mean, did it just want you to stop speaking into a microphone?
That, and since I say, I've got some basic things I say often, right? Ending wars and tell the
slogans.
truth. Yeah.
That's good. I need one slogan. I can't even come up with one. But because here's the other thing that I'm fascinated by this, right? There's people who, and well, there's one person in particular, maybe you know who it is, over and over again. Oh, you were over on Talcott. Blah, 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 blah. Like it's going to be seen as this perspective of that, like, it's wrong for me to be here because you've done so many things wrong. But I want to point something out, dude. Professionalism lives here. Seriously, whatever you agree about, disagree about, Christian, not Christian, all these things that you've done, our big fights, professionalism here. You do what you can with the non-camera people, but I can tell people are more drawn to putting their camera on here. I don't know why, but I think I see it more often than I do in most other places. I know that's not like, it's not supposed to be a vain, like, look at me, look at this, but it's what separates it from, hey, we're hanging out playing video games. And then this is our a second sort of, this is not where our full attention is. It's just the sidebar. You know what I mean? I turn my camera off when I'm checked out.
No, I get you. Thank you. Thank you for noticing that. And is that on that image? Is that Dusty and Dusty, or is that you and Dusty on your avatar when you cammed off?
Oh, sorry, hold on. That's Dusty and Dusty, yeah.
Dusty and Dusty.
That's Dusty right out of bed, and then Dusty, I guess, well, I guess, yeah, with hat and without hat. Pick your poison.
There you go. There you go. Hey, GTG, yesterday was an interesting stream. It was long and a lot of stuff regarding the looping. I don't know, man. People see what they say. People see what they see. What was that?
Right? They see what they are.
Where did I? Well, people will find what they see, but they see what they seek. And this is what I don't think people realize. What we're looking for is going to greatly affect what we find. And what we find is going to be, well, what we believe. But we live in a world that's backwards. Here, the greatest example is the lie we will often tell ourselves. I'll be happy when, right? I'll be happy when this or when that. And then we're just denying ourselves from being happy. But if we choose to be happy, even without X or Y, that's the way to be. We'll find the happiness.
People love the chase.
It's this life, man. I am truly, I could be wrong. I realize I could be wrong on things, but these ideas of inner peace, it doesn't seem wrong. It really doesn't. And I'm not claiming I got work to do, because I lose my inner peace quite a bit, but seriously, life is not as complicated as our mind wants to believe.
But I actually, oh man, I don't know how to say it. It's horrible timing. And forgive me for the timing, but
All right.
Does Pi still have the hard drive?
I think so. I haven't spoke to him.
Is he alive?
I hope so.
Because I think that, there could be an arc there where I go to get it back.
Could be what?
An arc to the storyline there where I go to get it back.
You know what? I thought about him recently, because it's been a little while since I've spoke to him.
Yeah, I don't know if he's totally blocked, but Cynthia, I think she has his number. She should hit him up and say that she wants the hard drive next.
Who's that? Lindsay?
Cynthia.
Oh, Cynthia.
Yeah.
Cynthia.
But I don't know. Hey, whatever happened to the video that you were going to do? The video of the, you got interviewed, right? Did that ever come out?
She did some shorts, and I honestly, Landry, I don't know. Cynthia and I have not spoken a lot since then. But the theory I have is when we met and did the interview, Jack says the stuff he talks about, right? Talked about ending wars, talk about Jesus and God, and maybe that doesn't align completely with where she's at.
You didn't get
Right.
like thrown into a situation of screaming angry people.
No,
Oh,
we
man.
didn't do that. But my wonder is, and admittedly, her and I have not spoken, but my wonder is that maybe she didn't resonate with what she caught, right? She didn't resonate with the words and the way it came across. So rather than do a bad job, do something that makes me look bad, she's just not interested in doing much with it.
Well, I was thinking that because so people obviously, and I don't like to come here to talk about me, but whenever I'll make it brief, but whenever people criticize, oh, he's the AI guy, he's this and that, I've basically completely stopped using. I think I almost really have AI generations, unless it's like an explicit song, like the DJ and Buzzball one. Everything I'm doing is real footage and real editing, and it's like obviously the music is still AI if there's
Sure.
music involved, but I think it's a big victory, right? But I'll always be the AI guy in people's minds. But I'm thinking that now I sort of have like an eye for this stuff. I was all the times that you're obviously when you're here it's so hot, but I'm just imagining like the things that could have been done if it was winter. Dude, we would have had a blast. And now I know the city. Like that first time we went, I didn't even know anything about the city. I was like, but maybe
Hey,
one day.
you know what? Spring is coming. Spring is coming, and where it won't be too hot, and where things are changing, and maybe who knows? I do still hope to travel again. I did enjoy Dallas Fort Worth area. It's kind of cool.
No, man, it's way cooler. Then there's parts of it that are so cool that I feel like I want to be a tour guide here now. I feel like I could actually pull that off. Be like, now that because I've lived here for forever, but I'm not in the city. But now I'm, going to the city. Like I said, we're the only two guys down there. It's me and my buddy. But all right, man. I can tell you're kind of getting, probably towards your end, or maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, I may
Maybe
just
not.
start. Actually, you got anything to promote while you're here? I want to do something if you don't mind.
Sure, yeah. So you probably just set me up for a horrible thing here today because my upcoming thing tonight is the top 10 gayest people in the panel.
Wait, what?
I can't even say it again. There's a stream in an hour. I might change the title, but it's the top 10 gayest people in the Panelverse.
I did see that.
Yeah,
I did see that.
it's a request of a friend.
Okay, so about an hour, and that could be some fun. Yeah, doggone it. Sorry.
But it could, just be 10 me's. You never know. Could just be me. Second place is me. Third place is also me.
You doing it all, huh?
No, I'm each single placement of top 10 gay. It's all me.
You take them all. I get it. Something is going on here. And I don't know. Shoot. Other new things coming up for you?
Yeah, well, here's the thing, right? With Moose, and I mean, I hate to, in this area of like, I don't mean to stir anything up because it's not my intention. But
Yeah.
do you remember there's been a few competitions, right? People have done, and I noticed that that's what I think is the best way to compete and collaborate is just friendly competition. But I've seen other people don't seem to like it very much. They seem to have been sort of put off by those. There's the one that we did on OTWs, and then there's the one that we did. I'm trying to think. Obviously the NPC Awards was a version of that, where it's kind of arbitrary, but people kind of get talking and it gets them interested. But with his sort of recent release of this album, right, that is just, hey, AI, make me an album, and I'm going to make Snow the main character. I feel as though it's inspired me to do a Panelverse musical with actual damn, like, there's no AI. The songs could be AI, but there's freaking people in it. That's what the people want to see. So that's what else is, in my mind. Also, more interviews. I mean, I was trying to talk to people on the Snow. They didn't really want to talk to me because they're just sledding or, it's dude, for every, that's the thing with the IRL stuff, for every one yes, there's 10 no's,
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
It's hit and miss. And then actually, not is it just hit and miss, but you could hit one person one way on one day, and then on a different day, they'd get a totally different reaction, right? So
It's
it
hard.
really is.
It's
Yeah.
hard because it's like sales. It's hard to be a person who sells, like, when you're at the grocery store and the person's like, hey, who's your internet provider?
Yeah.
I could never do that, but it's basically the same emotion that you have to pull out. Like, hey, stranger, please let me do something that's going to take your time or your money. It's kind of intrusive.
It is. This is the world we've got. But we're figuring it out. And Landry, I like your approach. You're not a hard sell. You're not forcing things on, and I respect you. You're trying new things. You're doing a lot of different things. And
Too many.
well, possibly, but that's how you narrow it down. And like you said, even your editing and stuff, it's adapted from where it was, but you've still got the perspective that you gained from doing the AI and all these other things. So a panel verse, what was the word?
Musical.
No
singing. We don't have to sing, but it's not karaoke. But yeah, I think it would be good.
That could be something. All right.
Landry is gay, and we accept that choice. Okay, that's a good thing to end on. Thank you, Lindsay.
I think I'm going to start wrapping up.
All right.
Appreciate it. Thank you for swinging through, Landry, and brothers and sisters, all who joined with us today. The guests and the viewers in the stream. The idea for today, it's a real simple idea, and we kind of got off and talked about a whole bunch of things. But the reality for myself, I want to invite you, all of us, allow yourself to have more space in your heart. Open your mind so you've got space in your mind for an alternative view, for a differing idea. Allowing yourself the potential, the willingness, giving yourself permission and the willingness to maybe be wrong. Because if you're wrong, even if it's just slightly wrong, you're just a little bit wrong about something you thought you knew. If you can find where you were wrong, then you can strengthen where you're right. You can grow. And allowing yourself space in your mind, space in your heart for an idea that's different from you, it allows us to really start again. I am going to wrap it up here today. I hope the energy of peace has come through for all of you. And for those of you who are willing to stick around, I'm going to send some of the viewers over to our friend OTW. I haven't talked to him in a little bit, but if you follow the raid over, please share some love and some support over that way. And until the next time, please return again in the future. Till next time, choose love, peace for everyone, and live without fear. Thank you again, and God bless. Peace.